All right, so what we're going to do today is we are going to make some buckwheat pancakes. Usually when you're on a plant-based diet, one of the complaints that I hear is, I don't know what to eat for breakfast. And if you're not doing eggs and bacon or tofu scrambles, what else is there? Okay, you can do some toast with some peanut butter and jelly, or you can do some avocado, or you can do some vegan cheeses on there, but sometimes you just need something that's a little bit more hearty, especially when it's on the weekend and you want to eat something that is, you know, delicious and kind of like what you would get in a diner. So I came up with the perfect solution, and that is buckwheat pancakes, but mine are super, super delicious. It's just not the plain buckwheat. So let's get started. I'll show you what the ingredients are. All right, so here we have the ingredients for the buckwheat pancake. And let me get this straight so it looks good. So right here, this is the main ingredient, and this is your buckwheat. And it's really fine, like flour, but it feels a little bit more sandy. Like sand on the beach, right? A really fine sand, when a regular flour is really soft and smooth. So this is your buckwheat right here, and this is about 1 cup of buckwheat. And the beauty about buckwheat is that it's a complete protein, and just a 1/4 cup of buckwheat gives you 4 grams of protein. So this is going to be just the buckwheat itself. If I eat all of the pancakes here, 1 cup's worth, that's going to run you 16 grams of protein. All right, so I take my buckwheat, and then here's some more protein. This is almond meal. I put that in there so it gives a nice little taste. And then I need something to bind this together since I don't have an egg. And so what I'm going to do instead, I do this a lot, is that I use a flax meal egg. So this is 1 tablespoon of flax meal, and then we have 2 tablespoons of water. We'll combine this together and we'll make a flax egg, and I'll show you that in a moment. Then we have some baking powder, and this will make the pancake rise. This is about 1/2 teaspoon. And then I wanted to have some hazelnuts, so I roasted some hazelnuts and then I took the skins off. So we have those. I'll go ahead and chop those up. And then I have some roasted walnuts as well, and we'll chop that up. And then we have this delicious Honeycrisp apple. And we're going to end up grating this, and we're going to put it right into our buckwheat mix. All right, so let's first start off with our flax egg. We want to get that ready, and we want to make it gelatinous. So we go ahead and take our flax meal, and we're going to go ahead and pour the water on there, and that's 2 tablespoons of water. And all we're going to do is we're going to mix this, and then we're going to set it to the side, because this is going to get nice and gelatinous. So it just needs a couple of minutes, and that's why we do that first. So I'm going to set that aside. So we have our buckwheat flour. We're going to go ahead and pour in our almond flour, and then we're going to go ahead and pour in our baking powder. Now, some people say that you have to put applesauce in here, or maybe you have to put some vinegar in here as well, but I don't. I just use my baking powder, my almond meal, and then my buckwheat, and I mix this all together so I know that this is ready to go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside, because I need to take care of this apple. So what I'm going to do with this apple is I'm first going to core it, and look it. This is my apple corer. I love this thing. I picked it up for maybe $2 and I use it all the time. So all I do is I take this corer and I stick it right in the middle. I press down, and there's my core. Look at that. I love that. Fantastic. So that's done. And then all I do, I don't want to use the whole apple. I'll probably use half of the apple. And then I'm just going to go ahead and peel away the skin. Now, I could use the skin if I wanted to, but I would need to chop this up super, super fine. The skin will be a little bit hard in the pancake, so I'm taking this off. And I will either eat this myself or I will give it to my dog because my dog loves apple skins and the core. All right, so this we're going to put away. We don't need that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a grater and the apple, and we're just going to do a quick grate because I want to throw this into the buckwheat mix. I use this grater all the time. Love it. The reason why I want to put apple in it is because I want to add a little bit of sweetness to the buckwheat pancake mixture without having to add sugar, because we are going to add syrup when we're finished. All right, so there's my grated apple. Let's check on this. Look at this. Can you see how it's sticking together? See that? So this is our egg. Plus, having this flax flour, this offers good omega-3s into your pancake mixture. All right, so what I'll also need is I want to have some almond milk. It's unsweetened, and you can use almond milk, you can use coconut milk, you can use soy if you want to. You can use cashew milk, it doesn't matter, but you're gonna need about a cup of this. Let's see what we got here. This is a third of a cup, and we'll be using this. All right, so I'm going to pour about a third of this to begin with. Here's my third cup of milk. I'm going to pour a third as a backup, and I'll put that here so I can grab that easy. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put in my flax. I'm going to start to mix this. And by mixing it before pouring in all the liquid, I can figure out, do I need more liquid or less liquid? So this second third of a cup, I'm just going to pour it in, half of it, and I'm going to see where this mixture takes me. It might be that we're going to need a whole nother third of a cup. And it looks like we probably will. But this typically is how I'll go ahead and make my pancake mixture. I don't want to pour too much liquid in it because I want a nice fluffy pancake, not a super thin one. All right, so this is our one third of a cup, which means that we're almost on 1 cup of milk. See how it's forming? We could make some muffins out of that. All right, so we're on a full cup right now of milk. Let's mix that up. We'll see. We'll see if we need to add even more liquid, but I always do it in parts. Now, the flaxseed is going to suck up a bunch of the liquid. Your almonds are going to suck up a bunch of the liquid. All right, so we're on a cup. Let's do just a touch more and see where that brings us. So we're at a 1 cup and maybe 1/8 of a cup. 1 1/8 of a cup, and I want a thicker pancake. So here's my batter. Looks good. All right, yeah, has a good consistency. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my apple right into the mixture. Okay, and as this cooks, it's going to soften the apples. Here's my mixture. I'm just folding this in. All right. So this is ready to go. That's fantastic. All right. So I'm going to use this cup to scoop out my pancakes and put it in my pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this aside and then I will go ahead and start my pan. I'm going to heat that up. And while that's heating, I'm going to go ahead and use the same cutting board, and I'm going to start to cut my nuts. And these nuts are roasted, and I always put my nuts on top. So we'll start with this first, and those are my walnuts. I'm giving them a light chop. This is to sprinkle on top of your pancakes. That looks good. Let's do the next one. I like to have roasted nuts. It just tastes better. There's a richer flavor to it. So this one's ready. We'll pour it back into our cup. And you know what? I'm at home, so I don't have to feign that I am a clean cook. 'Cause sometimes I'm not. All right, here are my hazelnuts. I'm being really careful in chopping these because they're round and they could skip all over the place. So with my hazelnuts again, I'm just going to do a rough cut. And these will go along with my walnuts, and they will be on top of my pancake. All right? So these are ready to go. All right, my nuts are ready to go. I'll put those here, clean off my board. Gotta work semi-clean, right? One more swipe. Here are our nuts. Now, usually I use a non-stick pan when I'm making my buckwheat pancakes, but I do like to add a little bit of Miyoko's butter. I use this a lot, and this butter is made out of cashews and a little bit of coconut oil, water, sunflower oil, some sea salt, and some cultures. And I love that. And even though it's a non-stick pan, I still like to use just a little bit of her oil. All right, we're going to go ahead and just take a little bit of our buckwheat, put it in there, and here's our buckwheat pancake doing its thing. Spread it out a little bit. Looks good. And we have all of this left over. It's a lot of buckwheat, so what I do is I put it in a container so that way I could stick it in the fridge and I could use this for the next day. And one of the containers that I like to use is I just have a simple canning jar, and I put my buckwheat into here, and then I can save that and use it for another day, which is fantastic. They're cooking nicely. All right, so our pancakes are finished cooking, and I want to show you what it looks like when it's done and how I put it all together. All right, so here we are. Got my plate ready. Here are my buckwheat pancakes, nice and hot. And remember, these are apple pancakes. I put those on top, and once I have them on top, I am going to go ahead and sprinkle some of my nuts on top. Now, if I wanted to have some banana in there, I could put my banana in there as well. So those are my roasted walnuts, or toasted. Then I have my hazelnuts, which I put on top as well. And then I have a choice. I could put some pancake syrup on there, and we know that pancake syrup is typically high fructose corn syrup. Then we have some date syrup. Look at the difference in color. Date syrup. So you could go ahead and put that on top. You could also go ahead and take a little bit of brown sugar. You could put that on top. You could put some maple syrup on top. And then what you can also do is I have some cinnamon. I might sprinkle some cinnamon on top. There's my cinnamon. And I brought out my vanilla because when you're making your buckwheat pancakes, you can put some vanilla in the mix and that would taste lovely. You could also go ahead and take your cinnamon and you could put that in the mix, right? But for right now, I am just sprinkling it on top, all right? And then, just to show you, I put my extra pancake mix in here, so tomorrow or the day after, I could easily grab this and I already have my pancake batter finished, okay? But here is your delicious, delicious, delicious buckwheat pancake. Look at that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put half of the syrup on. I wanna see what that tastes like. Ooh la la. This is a splurge for me. And then the other half, I'm gonna go ahead and put the date syrup so I can see the difference in how it tastes. Look at that. And there, my friends, is your delicious pancake. All right, so look at my pancake. Now comes the taste test. Nice consistency. Really nice consistency. Look at that. It's thick. Let's try it. That's so good, you guys. I taste the apple on the inside. My nuts are adding some delicious flavor. And you saw how quickly I made it. It's a really, really easy option for you to make. I think that your kids will love it too. My son loves it when I make these. So there you have it. That's something that you could make on a plant-based diet. And it's hearty. It's a complete protein. Add a little bit of nut milk with it to drink on the side, or a nice cup of coffee right here. So good. You'll be happy and you'll be satisfied. All right, enjoy breakfast.